Welcome to this week's dramatic drama weekend. Playful Kiss, the ultimate Cinderella story. Well, sort of. Well, not really. Well, sort of. So, if you imagine Prince Charming being a pretentious, rich genius who practically hates Cinderella, and you imagine Cinderella being a creepy, second-rate stalker, then sure, it's definitely a Cinderella story. The story basically follows the clueless Ohani, who's a high school student that turns later into a college student, and she is desperately in love with the coolest, hottest, richest guy in school, Baek Seung Jo. After being humiliated in front of her entire school by Baek Seung Jo, and then having her house destroyed in this random earthquake that only destroys her house, she ends up living with Baek Seung Jo, with his family in his house. Ah, fate, you heartless wench. And lots of other stuff happened after that I'm not going to go into. Personally, I love this story. I loved all the quirkiness that it had with it, with Ohani's imagination, and the band that would play in every episode and sing about what's going on in the little jingle. I love that, and I wish they would have kept it through the entire series. But they didn't. They lost it halfway through. And I think the reason why they did that was to portray that they're maturing now and trying to get away from the childishness of it. But I love that part of it. It set it apart from all the other dramas. Why didn't they lose it? Why didn't they lose Ohani's stalker qualities? Now that would have made me happy. Now the later part of the drama, I got a little confused and a little upset by how fast it was going. I remember watching it and being like, didn't Baek Seung Jo just realize that he liked Ohani? Why are they now getting married? What just happened? Writers, what's going on? What? What were you talking about? This is completely normal. This happens all the time. Well, yeah, but wouldn't there be like a natural courting period? Well, you see, reason why not everyone gets married right off the bat, you know. It seems a little bit rushed. I'm not even in the relationship, and I am uncomfortable with how fast this is going. You could have done like a lapse of time, 2 years into the future. Well, we could have done that because they graduated college and now they're getting married. Or you could have gone with the amnesia route. So they were running out of time. I could have gone that Ohani's the one for him, and she has to nurse him back to health. And this doesn't have the kind of money to do that. Makes sense the way you're doing it right now. You could have gone with a different route. Why did you choose this one? Why did you choose this one? Why did you choose this one? Just shut up and watch your drama. I give the hot jerk face character in this drama a 10 out of 10. Oh my gosh, Baek Seung Jo was such a jerk. But for some reason, he was my favorite character. Besides his mom, I loved his mom. She was completely crazy. Like, honestly, where did she get her ideas for all those disguises? I need to find out what Seung Jo's up to today. Time to put on a disguise. I feel like he'll see through this. Something. Totally won't notice it's me. Here I come. Anyway, back to Baek Seung Jo and his jerkiness. He practically tortured Ohani through the entire series. He called her stupid, he made her feel unwanted every second he could possibly take advantage of. He ignored her, but every time that she would try to get away from him, he would do something to make her want to stay with him and follow him like a little lost puppy like she is. Because she is. She's a lost puppy, okay? Now this may sound like an abusive relationship to you, but to the trained eye you will see that really Baek Seung Jo isn't a jerk. He's just too smart for the rest of us to understand relationships and feelings. In fact, I believe that Baek Seung Jo loved Ohani from the very second that he saw her. Watch. See? See what's going on here, right? You see it? Oh yeah. That's right. He totally was into her the second that she kicked that machine. The way that he is a very mathematical way of thinking. And to demonstrate this, I'm going to show you a mathematical equation about Baek Seung Jo that will explain why he could not possibly ever express his feelings to Ohani. As it is clearly stated in this mathematical equation, Baek Seung Jo is a very mathematical person. He has to do everything in its order and its place, and clearly cannot express his feelings to Ohani because Ohani was a complicated math equation to him. He couldn't figure it out. It scared him because he's a genius and has to know everything. He had to first figure her out before he could possibly allow himself to be in love. but later on was able to because he found the X to the equation. In the end, he figured it out, and then they got married! Yay! Alongside of that, Baek Seung Jo is a very introverted person. He can't always just say what he's feeling. He always does it behind closed doors or just keeps it inside of himself. However, if you watch very closely in some of the episodes, you can see him doing an outward show of emotion even when she's not there. Like in the episode where Ohani decides that she's not going to follow and stalk him anymore, and he's like, no, you see it, right? You totally see it. He totally isn't a jerk per se. He's just, okay, he's a jerk. I'll admit it. He is a total jerk, and in the end, he never really lost his jerkiness. He just married her and just was a jerky husband. But he's hot. You know, maybe it isn't the fact that he can't express his feelings. You know, maybe he's a robot. Now, before I move on to this next segment, I want to explain myself a little bit of why I call him the loser nice guy. It's not because I believe he's a loser. It's the fact that in every drama, there's always one guy who is so nice and so awesome, but is inevitably going to not win the girl in the end, therefore making him a loser. Sorry. Alright, the loser nice guy in this drama was Bong Joon-gu, or however you say his name. I give him a rating of pretty darn pathetic, but kind of glad he didn't win in the end. He was a sweet guy. He was always there for Ohani, but I don't know. I just didn't feel like I wanted him in there in the series all the time. In fact, every time he would show up, I'd get a little annoyed with him. I don't know if it was his voice, or his hair, or his clothing, or his bad accent. It just something about him just made me very, very mad. I'm gonna use you later. You stick around. Yeah. So basically what kept me watching the show was the relationship with Ohani and Baek Seung Jo. Regardless of their problems, regardless of how stupid I felt they were being and how much I wanted to jump through the screen and strangle Ohani for being a creepy stalker and to get over Baek Seung Jo and to kind of kick Baek Seung Jo in the pants and say, oh my gosh, well you realize that she's perfect for you. I loved the tension. I loved wanting to know if they were going to end up together. I wanted to see them end up together. And I loved it when they did. Oh my goodness. Oh, it was so wonderful. At the same time, kind of annoying. I mean, in the end, he really, the best he could come up with was,
넌 날 좋아해.
fine. I'll accept it because you two are freaking adorable. I loved it. Regardless of its weird, annoying problems.